Tell us about a time you didn't get enough sleep and how that affected you.
I ended up falling asleep in class because I was running on an hour and a half of sleep.
How does a full night's sleep help you feel or function better the next day?
I always feel tired no matter how much sleep I get.
What are your secrets to getting a good night's sleep?
I don't.
Oh my gosh.
Tell us about a time you didn't get enough sleep and how that affected you. I never get enough sleep, but specifically there was one time when I got like 3 hours of sleep. I had like a math test the next day, I had a biology test.
I basically studied until 5:30 a.m. and then I slept for 30 minutes and then I woke up at 6 to continue studying until I went to school.
And I began falling asleep during the test, which is something that was quite bad.
Terrible, like awful. I took the test and I had multiple other tests throughout the day that I didn't study for, and because I wasn't on my best, like I did very bad on all of my tests, and I realized that it's like
very counterproductive. Like I stayed up late specifically so I'd be ready for the test, but in reality I ended up being unprepared for the test because I was so tired, couldn't retain a lot of the information.
At some point, like when you don't sleep enough, it doesn't really like help you that much anymore. Like getting more sleep is always really important, and I think that every time I don't sleep, it actually makes me less productive as a person.
I feel horrible, like I'm really grouchy, I don't really have the motivation to do anything, and I just want to go to bed the entire day.
When I get a full night's sleep, I feel less stressed, I feel a lot healthier, and I also feel a lot happier.
Well, I mean, full night's sleep always just makes me feel better as a person because you feel awake, you feel as if you're not falling asleep every class, you feel engaged in what you're doing, and you feel ready for the day. I think that itself is just really important.
Honestly, when I get a full night's sleep, I feel amazing. It's like a new me. I honestly love getting full night sleeps because it's like so rare for me that when I do get a full night's sleep, I just feel like I'm on top of the world the next day. I have so much energy. I'm not like ready to pass out dead tired after like 5 p.m. I think I've kind of already admitted at this point that I don't really get good night's sleeps. I kind of just do it on the weekends. Like that's the most I'll get a good night's sleep. So I'll just get like a little amount of sleep throughout the entire week during the school days, and then on the weekends I'll just sleep for like 12 hours straight. Even then I can't do that a lot because I have a lot of homework to catch up on the weekends. So yeah, yeah.
It's always better to sleep early and then wake up early than to sleep late and then wake up late, because when you do the sleeping late, wake up late thing, at some point, like I usually do that on the weekends, and whenever I do that, it's very unsustainable because the next day, like if there's a Monday, I can't wake up that early. It feels awful and groggy. Having that hard deadline for yourself is really important because I think it's all about prioritizing your own health over everything else, because I totally understand like homework is important, tests are important, but at some point, like, you know, we have to value ourselves over the grades that we're getting.
So it's clear that we are not getting enough sleep, and we know that it's easier said than done, but lack of sleep is not something to be proud of. Getting at least 8 hours of sleep should be prioritized above studying for hours on end. And we know that it's hard because we all have homework and daily activities, and we're not saying to neglect your studies, but as you saw in the videos, not sleeping enough makes studying even harder the next day. If you're not getting at least 8 hours of sleep, talk to your parents about it. Talk to them about how you can balance your activities and your sleep and your homework and create a plan. Maybe it means studying for an hour or two less every night. And that might seem scary, but you'll be more focused and sharper the next day when you've slept enough.
For me, the other problem has also been falling asleep. I find that a lot of times when I'm in bed trying to fall asleep is the first time that I'm really alone with my thoughts. So to fix that, I've started the routine of taking a shower every night. This really helps me focus in a new way and allows me to be with my thoughts before I try to go to sleep. It tells my body to slow down and that it's almost time for bed. I also now read every night before I go to bed. And this can just be fun reading, something to distract my mind and let myself settle before bedtime.
Yeah, and one of the teens that we talked to asked us a question about the effect that phones and digital screens have on our stress and our sleep, and that is a great question.
Science has proven that looking at digital screens half an hour before you go to bed actually tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime. So it makes it really, really hard to fall asleep after. I found that one strategy that works really well for me to avoid this is to put my phone on the other side of the room. This means that I won't be tempted to look at notifications. It means that if I'm having trouble falling asleep, I won't start flipping through things on my phone just to distract myself. The other strategy I've started using is I bought a real alarm clock. It might seem a little old-fashioned, but it means that I'm not setting an alarm on my phone, that it's not the last thing I look at before I go to bed, and then the first thing that I look at when I wake up in the morning. I think it's a really good way to build in a little time away from technology and make sure that I'm really getting a good night's sleep.
Yeah. So if you're like a lot of us and you know you're not getting enough sleep, think about ways you can fix this and make a plan.